So guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. So guys, Eddie Hearn wants Gennady Golovkin to face Demetrius Andrade. Now Eddie Hearn on the weekend when after the Andrade fight, he wasn't too happy with the other champions in Charlo and Golovkin. I think he showed his frustration. I think he's struggling to get a top guy in there with Andrade. And basically what Eddie Hearn said, that champions should fight champions. And unfortunately, for some reason, Andrade has struggled to get champions. Now, we don't know whether that's his own fault or whether it's because the people look at him as high risk, low reward. But Eddie Hearn has struggled to get, a big name in there with him. Obviously, he fought his mandatory in Liam Williams. He didn't look too good. And surely that should encourage some of the champions now to actually think, you know what, this guy's really vulnerable. He was hurt multiple times in the fight. And he's there for the taking, and Eddie Hearn was right after the fight that after that, Charlo and Golovkin would be favourite after that. And to me, yeah, I think you have to say that I would favour Charlo and Golovkin. And a lot of people are saying, you know what, that Andrade had a bad night, that's irrelevant. Like, to me, he just didn't look good. He didn't look that, he got hit with a couple of shots. Whether, his chin didn't look too good. He got buzzed. And I think he's there for the taking. I think this is the first, Liam Williams was a step up from what he's been fighting before. And he struggled a little bit. And I think Golovkin would be too much. Now, some people saying Andrade would knock Golovkin out, man. You guys need to go and give your head a wobble. There's no way Andrade would knock Golovkin out. No way. Even now, he wouldn't knock Golovkin out at 39. Just give your head a wobble. You delusional fans, come on. This man's got the greatest chin in probably boxing history. And you're saying Andrade is going to knock him out. If there's anyone getting knocked out in that fight, it's Andrade, not Golovkin. We've already seen Andrade get hurt. Golovkin's never been hurt. In his so many amateur fights and pro fights, he's never been hurt, never been wobbled, never been tittled. We've just seen Andrade been wobbled by Liam Williams. And let's be honest, Liam Williams isn't half the puncher that Golovkin is. Let's get that right. Right? Call it how you see it. Don't talk out of a fanboy. Call it how you see it. There's no way anyone can argue that Liam Williams is tougher than Golovkin. Just stop it. And I don't care whether Andrade was not training. You're supposed to be training for every fight. Not training. What do you mean not training? Talking nonsense. Of course he's training. This is probably the best guy he's ever fought. So nope, I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. I think Golovkin should take that fight. Now, I will say this. I think Golovkin and Charlo probably look at Andrade and think, why do we need that guy? And I think that's why they've been avoiding him. And now, I personally think that after that fight, you've got to take the fight. And Eddie Hearn was saying that, Golovkin's talking about fighting Murata in December. And Eddie Hearn wants to make this in the summer. I don't understand why Golovkin is going to wait till December to fight Murata. Why in December? What's so special about December? We're only in April. You're going to wait 6 months, 7 months, when you could fight in the summer in a couple of months' time and then fight again against Murata. 7 months, you should have 2 fights in that time. I know Golovkin's getting on, and obviously he needs to, manage his body and stuff. But still, I still think he could get 2 fights in there. I think he should take. And plus, I think Andrade is probably a bigger fight. It's an easier fight to make. Isn't Murata with ESPN? It's an easier fight to make. Why not just make Andrade Golovkin for July? And if he wants to fight in December, he can fight in December as well. But I don't understand why he wouldn't want to fight. Is it because they're going to offer him huge money to fight Murata? Are they offering him crazy money? Because that makes sense. And maybe December is the date where it's feasible for them to do it. Maybe in Japan, because there was talks about Golovkin fighting Murata before in Japan for huge money and never came off. Is that why? Is it Golovkin looking for that big paycheck and he looks at Murata as an easy touch? I don't know. But if I'm honest with you, I think I want to see Golovkin Andrade. I don't know why Golovkin wouldn't I don't know why Golovkin wouldn't take that fight, especially after that performance. Especially after looking at Andrade and looking how vulnerable he looked. Surely Golovkin's got to take that fight because, to be honest with you, I don't see how Andrade would get through to 12 rounds. I don't. On that performance, with Golovkin's pressure, power, Andrade ain't going to make it to the final bell as far as I'm concerned. I don't know why Golovkin would look to duck or avoid him. It doesn't make any sense because for me, Golovkin's style is all wrong for Andrade. He'll cut the ring off. Andrade hasn't got power to hurt Golovkin. Golovkin will cut the ring off, pressure him, make him work every second of every round. And Liam Williams was able to put pressure and make Andrade, work and tire him. What's Golovkin going to do? I know Golovkin's not the fighter he was and his feet aren't as good as what they used to be, but still, he's still going to be very good. He still, for me, would beat Liam Williams. I still would favour him to knock Williams out. So, I don't know why Golovkin wouldn't take that fight because for me, Golovkin would have a great chance of defeating Demetrius Andrade. Great chance. I think stylistically, the style matchup is not good for Andrade. I think it's not good at all. So, personally, if I was Gennady Golovkin, I think you should be taking that fight. It's a chance for him to unify. Then he can unify against Murata. Then he could have a huge unification with Jamal Charlo for the undisputed. And like I said, I would favour him to beat Andrade and Murata. So I don't see why Golovkin would, drag his feet on this. I just think Golovkin should take that fight. ASAP, he should take it next. I personally, I would favour him to win that fight. Honestly, I wasn't impressed by Andrade at all against Williams. And if that was Golovkin in there, I just don't see him going. I don't see him going the distance. And Golovkin's a pressure fighter and he's a big puncher. Liam Williams don't punch as hard as Golovkin. Golovkin has the kind of power to wipe you out. So personally, I personally think Golovkin should take that fight because I know we probably looked at Andrade as high risk, low reward before, but I think now surely he must be confident he beats Andrade. I don't know what's the intrigue to fight Murata and especially waiting till December. Now they're talking about a fight and Murata and him in December. That's like ages away. Like, come on. Surely, Golovkin could get in a position where Golovkin, because imagine if Golovkin unifies the division, the fight between him and Canelo becomes massive, the trilogy. And I know that's what Golovkin wants, but I don't know what Golovkin is. Golovkin looking to become a unified champion, so when Canelo becomes undisputed, there's some kind of carrot for him to come back down to 160. I don't know. I don't know what Golovkin's plan is, but it does look like Golovkin is looking for that Canelo fight, and he's looking for as easy a fights as he can get up until he puts himself. And the Murata fight would obviously be a big payday for Murata, and Golovkin would look at it. It's a chance for him to become a unified champion. And that, like, when Canelo becomes an undisputed champion, that might be a carrot to get Canelo back down to 160 and fight him in a massive fight. But the way I look at it is if Golovkin fights Andrade, right, beats him and fights Murata, that puts him in even a better position to get the Canelo fight, because then Canelo may look at it and think, let me go back down to 160, let me beat Golovkin, get the 3 belts, and then let me fight Jamal Charlo, and I'm undisputed at that weight as well. Do you understand? So I think that Golovkin could, because I think he beats Andrade. I genuinely think he beats Andrade. Listen, there may be Andrade fans that disagree, but watching that fight, I'm going off that fight, and I feel like Andrade will get blown away after 7-8 rounds. I just don't think he'll be able to cope with the pressure, the power. I think it'll be too much. So I don't understand why Golovkin doesn't want to take that fight. I think it's a logical fight. I think they're both on DAZN. It's easy to make. It's not like he's going into a fight with a heavy hitter. Andrade's not a big puncher. He's a guy, a slickster that could outbox it, but doing it for 12 rounds against a pressure, hard-hitting, good boxer like Golovkin, it's a different ballgame doing it Williams. Like I said, Williams showed cracks in Andrade's game. Golovkin is on another level to Williams. Let's be real, Golovkin is on another level to Williams. And that's no shame on Liam Williams. Liam Williams is a good fighter, and I bigged him up before the fight, but he's not as good as Golovkin. Let's get that out there. He's not. Golovkin hits very hard. He's a good boxer, and he's a pressure fighter. And for me, when you've got a style like Andrade, who's got a very energy-consuming style, someone like Golovkin is going to sap that energy even quicker. Golovkin's style, like I always thought Golovkin would beat Saunders, beat Andrade, because their style, for me, would tire against someone like Andrade that's putting mental and physical pressure on you constantly, every second of every round. You know, because their styles, Saunders, Andrade, their styles is very energy consuming. It takes a lot out of you. You know, so personally, I personally think Golovkin should take that fight. Even at this advanced stage in his career, I would definitely make Golovkin a firm favourite against Andrade, especially on that performance. Especially on that performance, you clearly saw that, you know, Andrade is vulnerable. He's, you know, and Golovkin has a horrible style for Andrade. So I think that's a perfect fight. A perfect fight, and I think it should be made in the summer. I think it gives Andrade an opportunity at a big fight to prove his worth, and Golovkin has an opportunity to become unified champion. So I think it's a logical fight, and I think Eddie Hearn's right. Champions should fight champions. I think Golovkin's in the stage of his career where if he was 4 or 5 years younger, I think Golovkin would fight him. But I think Golovkin now is looking for the big paydays. That's why he's looking at Murata, because Murata would be a big payday and he'd be very confident of winning. And then he knows he's putting himself in a great position. Firstly, financially, he would make a lot of money fighting Murata. And then he'll probably he'll become a unified champion and then put himself in a position to fight Canelo. So I think that's what Golovkin is probably angling to do. And after that performance on the weekend by Andrade, surely that he'd look at it and think, I could beat Andrade and Murata in the space of 6-7 months. That puts me in an even better position for Canelo to fight me, because Canelo will look at it and think that he'll only need to beat 2 guys to become undisputed at 160. And one of the guys will be a guy with 3 belts that he's beaten already. You know, so I know Golovkin will be a tough fight, but at 39, surely Canelo backs himself to beat Golovkin. So I think it's the logical fight for him to fight Andrade next, but I don't know whether he will, especially if the Murata fight is big money. I don't know whether Golovkin will look to fight Andrade, but I hope he does. I hope he does, because as Eddie Hearn said, champions should be fighting champions. But leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, guys. And guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.